Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I was just telling the people here that you're still switching on the generator.
Yeah, no, man. Listen, I've been running around like a headless chicken the past 10 minutes trying to figure out this load shedding
Yeah,
thing.
I
But
was
we're here
also
now.
praying that. Yeah, how are you? How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain besides being nervous because I've never gone live before. But I'm good. I cannot complain. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How was your day?
Um, my day was okay. It was
Mm-hmm.
okay. You have days
Mm,
where it's like great and then just like days that are okay, not bad, but okay. Yeah.
hmm
Yours?
it was okay. It was okay. So yeah, thank you for asking. Did you go to
Oh,
work today?
no. So I'm currently training at the moment. I'm not working.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm actually busy with theory. So I'm not flying at the moment. I'm busy like trying to get my exams out the way.
Mm-hmm.
So yes and no, I did work today, but not the kind of work you think I did. Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to know more about your career, right? So, well, we'll start with aviation
Mhm.
because I don't know what aviation is. So I need you to tell me what aviation is.
So, aviation is basically it's the name for the industry. Anything
Mhm.
regarding planes, whether you're an aircraft mechanic, a pilot, a navigator, or a flight attendant, you are in the industry where we transport via aircraft, basically. So
Okay.
that is what aviation is. Whether it's your normal airlines or helicopters, anything regarding that, that's basically what aviation is. It's the name for the industry. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I get it now. So why did you choose to be a pilot? Why did you choose to fly?
Um, why did I choose to become a pilot? So
Yes.
it's not the normal answer that you would hear a lot of pilots say, which is, oh, the first time I saw a plane, I fell in love. Don't get me
I,
wrong, I've always loved flying. Um,
yes.
but I had the opportunity of flying to New York with a friend. She gifted me like for my 16th birthday. She was like, "We're going to take you to New York."
Wow. So
Anyway,
you
so
went to New York for your birthday. Wow.
yeah, no, I was lucky
Wow.
enough to have a friend who listen. Those gifts were amazing.
Okay.
Anyway, so luckily for me, her
hmm
mom was actually part of the flight crew. And because of this, I got to meet the pilots. And we also like traveled with the rest of the crew and stayed at the same hotel as the rest of the crew. So,
Yes.
number one, I met the pilot, and this was my first time meeting or seeing a pilot who was black. All my life, I saw Caucasian pilots who were males. And in that moment, when I saw a black pilot, like it's like a seed was planted into my brain that, oh, wait, I can also become a pilot. I never thought of that because I never saw that representation growing up, right? And
Yes.
that was the first time the seed was planted. And then what solidified me wanting to become a pilot is while we were traveling from the airport to where the flight crew would be staying, we dropped off the
Yes.
pilots first. And when I tell you, the hotel these pilots were staying at was next level, man. And I was like, does the company pay for the pilots to stay here? And they're like, yeah, it's all paid for. I'm like, I'm sorry, you get paid to travel and you live in luxury while someone else is paying.
Mm.
Give me a piece of that. I want some of that type of vibe. So that's literally what, solidified that for me. I was like, number one, I don't have to, stay in the cubicle all day. The
Mm.
sky is basically my office. And I get paid to travel while representing and, empowering Black people and females in the industry. So that's why I became a pilot.
So, like, do you only okay, you said you still study, you're still training, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes, that's correct.
are you only going to fly around South Africa or you're gonna go out?
So while you are training, you only fly within the country. But once you do qualify, you can fly internationally. You can choose to stay local. It's really up to you. But there really is no boundary to where you can and cannot fly, really. So you can go international. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how was your first time?
My first time.
Yes.
My first flight was actually quite interesting. So you can't see, but I'm not the tallest person out there. I'm really not. So I remember my first flight, my instructor gave me a cushion. She was like, okay, you're gonna need this just to like elevate you a bit. And anyway, we started the aircraft and we taxied to the runway. And now we're looking at the runway, and I turned to my instructor and I'm like to her, I can't see the runway. And she's like, but you're sitting on a cushion. And I was like, I still can't see the runway. And she had to get off of her cushion, and I had to sit on two cushions in order to see the runway. And even then, it still wasn't enough. I had to like put my head up.
Couldn't you like adjust the seat?
No, I can't. The best you can do is move the seat forward, but you can't lift it.
Or maybe you did. You did take it up, but you still couldn't see it.
No. So I sat on the two cushions, and I must say, so the beginning of my first flight was a bit shaky. But you know what? Once I got the hang of it and we were in the air, it was just like breathtaking. I was just like, I can't believe I'm actually doing this. I'm actually like pursuing my career as a pilot. So for the most part, it was really exciting. A little nerve-wracking, but in a good way, in a very good way. So yeah, that was my first flight.
But then what happens if you lose control?
That is a very good question. So number one, it really depends on the aircraft you're flying. You get some aircrafts that have autopilot, right? So if you have autopilot, then even if you lose control or you don't have control, the aircraft still is able to stabilize itself and fly whatever you put in, whatever you set for it to fly, right? And even with the smaller aircraft, it's just not as reliable. Like we have something where you can trim the aircraft so that it like, I guess, flies the way you want it to fly, but that one is not as reliable in the smaller aircrafts that we train for. So in a nutshell, don't lose control. That's that just
you never know.
like
it's like driving a car. You never know. You never know. You never. But then, which one did you go for? Which one did you go for?
Okay, so when you start off flying, you usually start on aircraft such as the Piper or the Cessna, which are the small ones. You know those small ones that sound like flies when you like, they're quite tiny and they just like fly overhead and they make quite a noise. Those are probably student pilots. That's what we start off with training in. But then eventually, the more you train, the more experience you get, you start to get into more advanced aircrafts that do have autopilot, that can do more advanced stuff that, you know, the smaller aircrafts can't do. So in a nutshell, I can't choose. You start off with, let's say, a manual aircraft to better understand what I'm trying to say, and then you can move on to auto. Once you know how to manually fly an aircraft, then you can move on to an aircraft where it can essentially fly itself. Yeah.
So like, is there a big difference between flying and driving?
Oh, there's a big difference between flying and driving. I will say the biggest difference is, you know how you accelerate and you brake with the pedals on the floor when it comes to a car? And an aircraft, we actually use, we call them rudders, rudder pedals. We actually use that to turn the aircraft left and right. So it's, when you're on the ground, we don't actually use the controls that you see here to turn. We use our feet to turn the aircraft. So I would say that's the biggest difference. But overall, I would say the similarities between flying and driving is the more you practice, the more comfortable you feel, the more, you know, the better you get at it. Eventually, it gets to a point where, you know, you don't have to think about driving. You don't have to think about changing gears. It comes naturally. It ends up becoming second nature. So it's the same with flying. The more you practice, the better you get at it, the more it becomes second nature. So, yeah.
So, okay, what is it that one should do to study what you're studying? The subject? that they
Um,
need to take in high school?
so honestly speaking, nothing. And I know you're probably
Not-
thinking, what? But there's this stigma or notion that you have to take maths, you have to take science in order to become a pilot. And don't get me wrong, if you do have maths and science and geography, your training becomes a lot more easier. But those are not requirements to get into flight school. So even if you finished high school and you didn't take maths and science, you can still go to a flight school and apply. Essentially, you actually don't even need a matric certificate. As crazy
Really?
as that, yeah, as crazy as that sounds, you don't need a matric certificate in order to become a pilot. You can fly as young as 15 years old. You can start flying at 15 years old. And that's why I'm
Wow.
saying you don't need a matric certificate, because in the training they teach you all these things. But it really does help to have maths, to have science, and to have geography and English, because that's the
Yeah,
universal language
and you have to
pilots speak,
communicate, of
English.
course.
Yes. So yeah, I would say
But
those four subjects,
mm,
and you should be good. Yeah, and matric. A lot of people try
how
to
good?
like drop out of high school,
You said
and
you
they're like,
should
oh,
be
I don't
good.
need.
How good?
What? I don't think I heard you.
You said but then you must be good. Let's say maybe now you're doing pure maths, then you must be good. How good?
No, so you don't have to be good. Listen, this is coming from someone. Me and master maths. I took maths, but me and master maths,
Mm.
to get those extra lessons, I was there. I was one of the kids who wasn't the greatest at maths, but here I am, a
But
pilot.
right, sorry, but
Exactly.
if you also did, if you went to master maths, then you were good. I know master maths. I went to master
Oh,
maths as well. So if you,
okay.
yeah, so, so if you also went through that, then you were also good. Don't
Okay.
try to take yourself.
The
It's
point
cool.
I'm
It's cool.
making is you
Mm.
don't have to be a natural, brainiac or
No, I
smart
get it.
to be a
I get it.
pilot. If where there's a
Mhm.
will, there's a way. So
Yeah, of course,
maths wasn't the
definitely.
greatest for me. So I made a plan. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Of
Yeah.
course. So do you think even if you don't get your 70s or 80s, you'll still be able to um, be a pilot?
Um, I want to say yes and no. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
because naturally I wasn't someone who always got 80s. Like when I tried, yes, but naturally I'm not an 80s person. However, once you do start your training, the pass
Mm-hmm.
mark is 75. If
Right.
you get
Okay.
74, you fail. When it comes to pilot training, you fail. 74 is a fail. You need to get above 75. So being someone who gets A's in high school will definitely help your journey once you start training as a pilot. I'm not saying it's not possible, because
Mm-hmm.
I I was a 70s kid. I was like in the 70s, 60s. If I really tried, 80. And here
Mm-hmm.
I am. I'm doing just fine. I struggle now and then, but I'm doing just fine and getting my
So
license.
it
So
means
it is
now
possible.
you're getting 75 out because you said
Yes.
they need 75. So
Yes, you
like,
have
okay,
to.
if somebody doesn't have a metric certificate, don't you think that they're going to struggle if they want to be a pilot?
They will. It really depends on what you're trying to do with your license. So you get people who, for instance, get they just a private pilot license, right? And a lot of people who just get the private pilot license is people who just do it as a hobby. So
Okay.
there, if you don't have a matric certificate, you'll still be fine. There are calculations here and there where you need to do, but you'll manage. The problem will come in once you decide to, take it professionally and be a commercial pilot or airline transportation pilot. Those courses need like full on maths. Like you need to know what you're doing. And if you do it without a matric certificate, you're really just gonna make life unnecessarily difficult for you. And also once you start, you know, looking for jobs and you given your CV, but you don't have a matric certificate, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage when you now have to apply with other candidates who do have something as simple as a matric certificate. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. So you are talking about a license, obtaining your license. Is it like the normal classes that every university student takes, or maybe you just go and train? It's only training. You don't go to class, you don't write tests, you don't do all those things that university students do.
So we do all those things. That I'm so sorry. I see a comment there that says,
oh
I need
yes,
to adjust my microphone.
are you using that only?
Okay, let me actually try this.
Yeah, if you could use your mic from your phone.
You guys hear me better now, or is it still like breaking?
I can hear you. I don't know about the one who commented. Let's just wait. But I can hear you. Let's just wait for a reply, maybe. Okay. But it's fine. Continue. I can hear you. It's all good.
Okay. Anyway, maybe they just need to check their connectivity to see if it's okay. Anyway, so we do the same things that university students
it's good.
do.
Good now. I see.
Okay, great. Great.
Thank you.
So as I was saying, we do the same things that normal university, students do. The only thing is maybe not assignments per se, but that comes in the practical training. But we do go to lectures, we do write exams, we do have tests, and it's the same. We just have the addition of the practical side of training where we physically have to fly aircrafts, where we get tested on how we fly aircrafts. So it's more or less the same, just with the practical piece as well.
Okay, so is there a specific institution for aviation, or you can just apply at any university that has aviation, of course?
So universities don't actually have like pilot training. You have to go specifically to a flight school. And there are quite a lot of flight schools in South Africa and all over the world, actually. And for like those who do want to know which flight schools to go to, or which ones I recommend, or what are out there, I have created a highlighted story on my Instagram profile, which is called FAQ, Frequently Asked Questions. There you'll see a list of recommended flight schools in South Africa, though. I wouldn't know too much about schools outside of South Africa.
I'm sorry, let me do this quickly. You said it's FAQ?
Yes, Frequently Asked Questions.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. Let me quickly do this.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna put it there. Okay, no, it's fine.
Okay.
Yes. So, which institution do you strongly recommend if one wants to be a pilot? The one you go to, or the one that you wanted to go to? Which one?
Like
or maybe the one that you go to now is the one that you've always wanted to go to. Pardon?
Quite frankly, I am at the institution I've always wanted to go to. I didn't start off at this institution. I actually started off at a different flight school, but I wasn't happy with the way they operated. So once I got my private pilot license, oh, there goes one of my lights.
No, it's fine. I see a question here. I'll come to this. I wanted to ask something about the fees and all that, but yeah, we'll answer that question. Just continue. It's fine. Yeah.
So I was saying I'm currently at 43 Air School. It's not a pricey, what am I saying? It is a very pricey institution, but it is one of the best in, the Southern Hemisphere. So I would recommend 43 Air School. If you're looking for something more affordable, you fly, which is in Johannesburg, Germiston at Rand Airport. There's also Blue Chip. You can also check out Johannesburg School of Flying. I'm not too sure about the last one, because I have a few friends from there. Some are happy, some aren't too happy. So I think it really just depends on, you know, what you prefer as a pilot.
Is there, do you have bursaries in the aviation, or you just have to pay from your own pocket?
We do have bursaries out there available for people, but I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's not the easiest to get. Like, you have to get really high marks. You have to, you know, be in a certain, I guess, tax bracket. Like, you can't earn above a certain amount. Obviously, it's because it's for the disadvantaged. But I also have, I've listed the bursaries that you could apply for in the same highlighted story, which is frequently asked questions. Yeah.
So do you pay from your own pocket or using a bursary?
Personally, I was lucky enough to have my parents pay for me. So yeah, I don't really have to worry about fees, thank God, because they are pricey, guys. But I will say, once you do, you know, get into the workforce, eventually it will be worth it. Like, you'll get way more than what, you know, you put into your education.
So is there a certain number of hours that you guys need to be a professional pilot, or maybe after training you just go straight into it and start flying? So
there are certain amount of hours that you need in order to get certain licenses. For instance, if you're doing a PPL, 45 hours. If you're what is
a PPL?
If I remember correctly, it's 45 hours. If I remember correctly, I haven't done my air law for PPL in a long time. If you're doing,
I also want to know what a PPL is. What is a PPL?
I'm so sorry, private pilot license. Oh, you just refer to it to PPL.
Okay.
If I say CPL,
now you're coming up with abbreviations that I don't know. So
I'm so sorry. I'm just so used to be like around people where. So yes, a PPL is private pilot license, and if I say CPL, it is commercial pilot license. So that's currently what I'm training towards, my CPL. Okay. And when it comes to the hours for CPL, if you're just doing a normal commercial pilot license course, that is 250, if I remember correctly. And if you're doing an integrated pilot license course, integrated is like, it's mixed with private pilot license, then it will be 200 hours, if I remember correctly. So, yeah.
So how do you get to 200 hours? Do you have to fly every day, all day, or how do you get there?
So, yeah, basically that's when you're doing your training. That's when you know, learning how to take off, doing circuits where you take off, fly around the airport, land, where you fly from one airport to another. That's when you do your navigations. And basically over time, while you're training, these hours accumulate. Yeah, and from there on, I guess you wouldn't have to fly every single day, but once you are finished with your theory, it does help to fly on a regular basis to get those hours much quicker. Okay.
So the core subjects here, let's say you have your matric certificates. I mean, your certificate one, obviously. So you have your English, right? Yes. Physical sciences, pure maths, geography. So between these four, which one dominates more when you fly?
Which one dominates more when you're flying? Yeah.
Do you like always apply your maths or your geography, or you always talking? That's why you have to be good at English. Well, which one is it?
Oh gosh, so sorry guys.
But you can see you, but it's fine if you want the lights on.
Like, yeah, I would. So I would say, so the maths you apply a lot beforehand when you're planning your flights, planning wherever you're navigating to, right? And then I would also say that's when you apply your maths and your geography. Those two is like beforehand. And then during flight, I would say English, number one, because you're constantly doing radio calls in whatever airspace you're in, communicating with air traffic control, other pilots. So definitely English. Physical science is more for when you're writing your exams and doing your theory and lectures, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I've once heard about an air traffic controller. Am I right? Yeah. So well, do you also go into aviation if you want to be an air traffic controller?
Yes. So the same way, if you want to be an aircraft mechanic, ATC is also part of the aviation world. Like everyone who's...
What is ATC? What is ATC?
So sorry. I'm so sorry. It's out of habit.
You are the one in the aviation. We don't know. So when you come with your abbreviations, you must tell us. Don't be like ATC.
I am so sorry. I am so sorry. It's just become like my mother tongue just to say abbreviations because I speak to people who say it. So ATC is air traffic control. The people in the towers who make sure we don't crash into each other. That's ATC. I'm so sorry, guys. Please forgive me.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But there are a few people who understand your, is it a jargon or jargon? How do you pronounce it? But yeah.
Jargon.
So, it's jargon.
Jargon. Potato. Same what.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Okay, so like, aren't you afraid of heights?
Funny enough, I actually am. I actually am afraid of heights. A lot of people get shocked by the fact that I'm a pilot who's afraid of heights. But you get two different fears, man, when it comes to being afraid of heights. So I have the fear where I'm afraid of falling from heights. So if I'm on a cliff of a mountain, there's nothing securing me or stopping me from falling down, right? So that's where my fear comes from, security. But if I'm in like, a skyscraper, like those tall buildings, I won't, be scared because there's glass protecting me. I'm in a building. The likelihood of me falling down is very minimal. So that's exactly how I feel about flying. I feel secured in the aircraft. Like, yes, it can fall and crash, fair, but the likelihood of it just dropping out the aircraft, out the air is not as high. So I'll be fine. That's why I'm a pilot who's afraid of heights, and I can still fly with ease.
Okay, so what happens if let's say now you are flying and then you happen to experience a technical problem that needs to be fixed on land. You can't fix that while flying. Well, what do you do? Let's say now you're flying to another country, right? And then you experience a technical problem before you reach the country. What do you do?
So in our training, we're actually trained for such situations. They will give you all sorts of situations where if something goes wrong, how to handle it and the procedures to take in order to get back down on the ground safely, essentially, and not die. So depending on what the situation is or what's wrong with the aircraft, you would either divert and go to the nearest airport. You would either do what we call a force or emergency landing, where you got to pick a field, man, and be like, I'm gonna land there, or I'm gonna land in the sea. But we also trained for situations where if we do have to land in the sea or do have to land on a field, what field to pick, how to do those landings. So we are trained for such situations. It really just depends on how dire the situation is, essentially, but we'll be fine. Also, with that being said, we do have a subject called aircraft technical in general, where we learn the ins and outs of an aircraft. Like, I'm talking like to the T. So when something goes wrong, we will know more or less, why is it going wrong? How can I fix it? Because when you're up in the air, you don't have a mechanic with you. It's just you
No.
there, right? So you have to know what's wrong. You have to know what's the best solution to fix what's wrong and how to handle the situation. So I guess in a nutshell, we're trained to know what to do.
So like, okay, if you are having that technical problem and then you want to land, do you just land anywhere or maybe just choose any airport that's near you? Do you communicate with the AFC? Now I know what an AFC is, right? So do you communicate with the AFC to help with what is this? The airport that's free or maybe an airport that has nobody who's taking off?
So yeah, if you do have an emergency, there's also procedures to when you talk to ATC. Like we have code words like Mayday, Mayday. That means you are a priority. You need help now. Pan, for instance, means I'm having an issue, you know, but it's not like someone's dying type of vibe. So we do have procedures in place where they will help you, they will assist you depending on what you need. You can request what's the nearest airport, you can request a heading to turn onto in order to go where you need to. You can request that once you land, you have ambulance there or fire brigade or whatever. So it really just depends on what the emergency is. But yeah, there are procedures where everyone in the aviation industry knows what it means and what they need to do on their part. So even ATC would know what procedures they follow if I'm in trouble. Does that make sense?
Oh, I said, you see now, I said ATC, I said AFC instead of ATC. Okay.
It's okay. We all make these mistakes. We all, every now and then we do it.
I was trying to blend in. I thought I was becoming a pilot, but
don't worry, one day.
I am not. No, I won't be a pilot. So if you're having an emergency, who goes out first? Let's say now you cannot land. The only thing that you need to do is to take out your parachutes. Who goes out first?
So
whoever that doesn't want to die, or maybe you allow
it depends on
is
what
it the
kind
people
of
that goes out
pilot
first or you?
So normal
Which one are you? Are you gonna go out first or are you gonna allow them to go out first?
Well, you see, first of all, good airmanship, right, is to make sure that your crew and your passengers are okay. You know, let's not be selfish here. You are in charge. You do have a responsibility to getting these people safely on the ground. So that's number one. Number two, normal commercial airline pilots, we don't do the whole parachute thing, right? It's do or die. It's do or die. But like fighter pilots, for instance, they will have the parachutes. It also depends on the aircraft. The aircrafts like that I'm training on right now, we don't have parachutes. It's do or die.
If you experience an extreme technical problem there and it's going to explode, so it's over.
It's a wrap, man.
I'll try to die. No.
I should not be saying this casually. I should not be saying this casually. But honestly, like they were
parachutes.
No, like there were incidents in the past where, you know, planes blew up, planes caught on fire, but dead, like gone. Unfortunately, but listen, let's not. I don't want to scare people. It's the likelihood of that happening is very low, and there are so many safety procedures put in place to avoid that. Like we practice so many things. We practice fires, we practice engine failures, we practice all the things you could possibly think of to avoid such things from happening.
Okay, so like, do they allow you to drink coffee, obviously, coffee or tea, or do they allow you to eat while you're flying? Let's say you're going to fly for long hours now, so do they allow you to at least set a sip or something like that?
So if you're doing long haul flights, like once you do start working, yes, you can, like, you obviously have to eat and drink to, you know, keep the body going, but not in the cockpit. If you miss coffee on those systems and something goes wrong, that's not good. Right? So
And there are
you
no
can still eat,
parachutes.
you can still drink, and I'm talking about like airlines now. But even in like while we're training with the smaller aircrafts and the Pipers, the Cessnas and whatnot, I mean, we do take out a juice or a bottle of water, you know, because sometimes the flights are long and you do get hungry, so you can with the smaller ones. But I know with the, you know, more advanced airlines, they are a lot stricter with such things.
Okay. So how do you, okay, I think the second question will be a bit personal because I saw it here. I don't want people thinking that we're avoiding their questions, but I'll start with the one that I wanted to ask. How do you balance your talent and career? Even though well, a talent can also be a career, but I just need to understand the difference. Yeah.
So I assume you're talking about, you know, me training and also me doing the whole social media and trying to help people out.
Yes, your content specifically.
Yes. So I'm not even going to front. I'm still trying to figure out how to balance that. It's not easy because I am training full time and I basically do the content thing on the side, and I am trying to do it full time as well, but it's not easy. If you have a passion for something, when you're, you know, trying to do it on top of something you're doing full time, it does become easier because you genuinely enjoy doing it. You find yourself, you know, doing something for hours and not realizing how much time has gone by. So I will say that helps, but how I balance the two is I try to use my weekends in order to, like, you know, create content to answer people. And then basically plan whatever I did on the weekend and schedule it for the week to come ahead. So I try, but I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm not even going to lie and act like I'm super.
Don't worry, you'll figure
it.
So you only train from Monday to Friday and no weekends?
Oh, I wish. No. So Monday to Sunday. Literally, like I could be on a flight Sunday evening at 8 o'clock training. Unfortunately, and this all boils down to the school you go to, but the school I'm at is a hustle 24/7 type school. They're quite intense. They quite, like, you know, do things as fast as you can to get your license and leave, I guess. But you do get schools that you only train and study and work from Monday to Friday. So those are things to also consider when you're looking for a flight school. Like, what kind of environment are you looking for? Are you looking for 24/7 hustle kind of vibe? Or are you looking for, you know, chilled, go at your own pace type of vibe? Because some people are part-time students. But my school only does full-time students, so we're there 24/7.
Okay, so does your school provide accommodation, all those things, or do you just go there for classes? Or
so no, they provide the whole shebang. They provide accommodation, they provide food, gym, they even provide transportation to go to, like, town or to pick you up from the airport. So they do the whole thing, not just training.
You see, the one thing that makes me want to be a pilot now is because they provide food. So definitely I would love.
You say that now, but before you know it, you've gained like 20 kilograms.
It doesn't matter how you punish me. I don't care. As long as you give me food, I'm good. I'm good. I'm telling you, I can even go to the military. As long as they promise me food, I'm good. I'm telling you.
Clearly, the way to your heart is through your stomach. I see that.
You can shoot me. You can, as long as you don't kill me. But then, as long as you give me food, then. Now back to the. Okay, I saw a question, but then it went up. Somebody asked a personal question. Okay, you can only answer that question if you're comfortable with it.
Okay.
So. I forgot the name, but then they asked if your career doesn't affect your love life.
Your love life.
That's why I said yes.
I feel like everything's about balance, guys. Like, truly, Yes, a lot of people, whenever you're like, oh, I'm a pilot, especially as a female, the first thing they think about is what if you want to have a family or a husband, but you're always traveling? And it's like, guys, where there's a will, there's a way, number one. Number two, what you could get someone in the same industry as you who's also traveling. Y'all travel together. I mean, couple goals right there. But anyway,
Okay,
I will say,
I wanted to say that if you want to be happy, then it should be from pilot to pilot, you know.
I mean,
But
exactly.
then what if,
That's what you could do. Personally, for me, I would never date a pilot. I'm good, thank you. I would like someone in a different industry.
okay.
But yeah, we're not gonna get into that one.
No, yeah, of course, definitely.
Yeah, no.
I understand what you're
So
saying. I understand what you're saying. So no, it's all good. You don't have to
yeah.
explain it. Yeah.
So you can have a love life. It's not, you know, it depends on how you guys decide to go about having that relationship. Like, I'm happily in a relationship coming up to 2 years now, and we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, congratulations. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful.
So it's possible. It's really possible.
Yeah, okay. So you just, okay, let me just say this. If you truly want to do something, if you want it to work, it's definitely going to work. It doesn't matter the distance. It doesn't matter whatsoever. It's going to work. It's going to work. Yeah.
My
If they
motto
make
in life is
excuses,
just, where there's a will, there's a way. That's literally my motto. Where there's a
I
will,
love
there's a way.
that. You're going to break down every wall, I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
So, I saw a question here. Okay, what aviation school do you go to? You don't have to give us the specific location, just the province.
I'm at 43A School, which is in the Eastern Cape.
Eastern Cape. Okay. So, for the bursaries, if you don't have anybody to pay for your fees, do you have to qualify for the bursary, or maybe there are those free bursaries that can just fund anyone?
No, you have to qualify for it. Considering how much aviation costs, it's quite pricey. So people aren't just going to give bursaries to everyone who just wants one, because what if you don't finish your training? Now all that money is waste. So a lot of the times, in order to qualify, they do look for people who get high marks in high school, essentially. So if you're in high school, you're listening to this, study if you want to get those bursaries. After this, switch off your phone and go study for your exams. Wait, I think kids maybe on holidays, right? Kids are on holidays, right? My bad. Study once you get to school.
They are on holiday. We are opening on the 18th.
Yeah. Once you guys are back at school, study if you want to get a bursary.
They are back. Well, okay. Yeah. It's not about me, but anyway, yes, they are opening on the 18th of this month. Yeah. Yeah. They are opening on the 8th. So when you talk about good marks, are you talking about 80 and above?
I mean, yes, preferably, because there are so many people applying for these bursaries. If you want to stand out, the higher marks you get, the better. But it's not a requirement, but the higher the better.
Yeah, that's 80. Yeah, there are students who get 80%, which is good. So, what is the what prediction can you make on the fees? The cheapest. Let's say somebody now wants to be a pilot and they don't have anybody to pay for them, and they also want to use a bursary, right? So, how much do you pay monthly?
So, number one, it depends on what license you want to do, but the higher the license, the more expensive it becomes. So, for instance, a PPL, I would say roughly is 150 to pay for. Yeah. No, just like for the whole license. Another thing about aviation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So another thing about aviation is that we not like a typical varsity where you have to pay a monthly fee to school, and it's not like everyone pays the same amount. So when it comes to flight schools, most flight schools, not all, but most flight schools use like a prepaid account.
So you would pay a deposit in the beginning, however much that deposit is. It's different from school to school. And then from there on, you will top up your account according to what you need. So once you start flying, maybe you decide, okay, I'm going to put in 50,000 this month. And then you fly, and then your account is low, and you top it up again. It's up to you. It could be after 2 months that you top it up. You add another 10,000 or something. So we don't have monthly school fees. It works more on a prepaid account, and also it's not a set amount for every single person. So some people need more flight hours to, you know, get their license than others. You get some who will get their license at 50 hours. You get others who will get their license at, you know, 70 hours. So that would mean the person who used 70 hours, it's going to cost them more. So it's not a set price. I also do have like a rough guesstimate of how much the different licenses cost on my highlighted stories, the same one, frequently asked questions, FAQ, that you can check out.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I think your signal is a bit low now because, yeah, it's freezing. But yeah, you're good now.
Okay. Also, I have had load shedding for quite some time now, from 5. So I know after like 2 hours, my signal starts to get funny with load shedding. Okay. So I think the better we wrap it up the better before you lose me altogether.
It's okay. So what are some of the challenges that you came across in the training?
My challenges in training, if it's specifically to training, I would say radio calls. Listen, speaking to ATC is nerve-wracking. Oh my gosh. And they speak so fast. And with someone who had like social anxiety, and I'm the kind of person who had to like rehearse what I'm going to say when I order pizza on the phone. So to speak on radio, I have the whole world
just time
listening to you. Like,
tell them we have WhatsApp. They can just send a text.
So you have all the other aircrafts listening to you and ATC, and you have to speak in a certain way and speak very fast. It's quite nerve-wracking at the beginning. So I would say that was one of my struggles when it came to training. But in the industry as a whole, I would say sexism and racism. Like, as a female, as a Black female, I'm already 2 steps behind my peers just because of my gender and the color of my skin. I find that when I like walk into a room or a class or a test, I don't get treated the same as my male peers, where male peers, they are automatically assumed to know what they're doing. They have to prove that they don't know what they're doing, right? Whereas when it comes to females, we are automatically put at a disadvantage where they're like, she's a female, she doesn't know what she's doing. So I have to prove myself before before you even know me, before you even see what I'm able to do. So I would say that's the biggest challenge when it comes to the industry as a whole, being a female and being Black.
I'm so sorry about that. I just hope nepotism ends one day, right? So
I mean,
yeah, we just need to balance it and give everybody equal opportunities. That's how it should be. So
it should be that.
Yeah, I am so sorry about that. But you should focus more on getting your license.
No, I definitely am. That's one of the reasons why I'm getting my license. So we see more people of color in the industry and more females. Yeah.
Yeah, you should let me know when you're done here. I want to get a discount. Or maybe I can just, hop in.
Listen, get in line. Get everyone I ever meet is like, we want free tickets. And I'm like, my gosh, I'm going to be fine for free for so long.
But you don't have to give me a ticket. You just tell me there's a free seat. Obviously, I'm just going to hop in. You will have, I can sit in the bathroom. It's fine. It's fine.
Sure.
It's fine.
So, you know what? When there is a free seat, I will definitely.
I just need the bathroom. I'm sure the bathroom is comfortable. I'll just sit in the bathroom.
Listen,
I'll just sit in the bathroom. Okay. There's a question here. How do you get over the challenges you had. Okay. Do you want to talk about this one, or we just?
I'm happy to answer. I'm not sure which challenges they're talking about, the radio call one, or the sexism and racism.
Let's not put it on specifics. Just answer an overall answer, please. Yeah. That's I think people.
So how do I overcome challenges in general? I think.
Do you come back and cry? Do you exercise?
Listen, I'm not even gonna act like I'm the toughest cookie out there. I do cry. I cry a lot. Crying makes me feel better. I won't cry in public. But
how do you cry? How do you just how do you cry? Do you be like or maybe you just allow your tears to?
No, man.
You don't make sounds when you cry.
Oh my gosh, that's giving too many specifics. But Shane, man, on a serious note, besides crying, because crying is like a form of release and it does feel like a painkiller. But besides crying, I think it's all about like knowing what your goal is and how badly you want it. Because whatever you want in life, there are going to be challenges. It's not always going to be easy, right? So knowing what you want, and also just having that discipline and perseverance to keep on pushing through the storms. And besides, having that perseverance, having something to fall back on that will help you handle those challenges. So for me, it's meditation and exercise. Exercise is just to release all that negative energy, and meditation is to calm my mind so I'm able to think more clearly, to calm my anxiety, to make more rational decisions. So it's about having good coping mechanisms in order to, handle those situations when they do come up. I see there's a question here that someone keeps asking me on what do I study to pass my CPL exams, which I think they may be referring to the question bank I use. For any pilots out there, I use Aeroversity. It's a great question bank for studying your exams. And then when it comes to the lectures or the study material I use, it would be pilot exams, which is pricey, but yes. Anyway.
Pricey, how much?
Listen. I think it's best if I don't say.
A grocery for the whole year.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Essentially. I'm not even joking.
Okay. So all the aviation schools are private, right? Or maybe we have public ones.
I'm not aware of public air schools. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not aware of flight schools that are public. But if you are looking at like government, like pilot training, I would say like the military or the Air Force, that would be, funded by the government, essentially. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. So, okay, I wanted to ask something, but let's just, How long did it take for you to go solo?
How long did it take for me to go solo? That's a great question. Okay. Which I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have the answer. I cannot remember. I cannot remember. I know a lot of people remember how many hours they had once they went solo for the first time. I cannot remember, honestly. I have like over 150 hours now. So that number slipped my mind at this point.
That's nice. So you only left with 50, is it?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
50, then I could qualify to get my license, yes.
Okay. Can you buy your own aircraft if you want?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And best believe I'm going to buy my own aircraft one day.
That's convincing. Yeah. That's convincing. You sound like you want to buy one. You sound like you want to buy one. Okay. That's nice.
For sure. Just watch the space. One day I'll be like, here's my new baby, guys. But anyway. Anyway, I think we're
gonna use that one for my birthday since we went to New York.
Sorry?
I'm saying we're gonna use your aircraft to go to New York for my birthday since you already went there.
I'm not sure my aircraft will be able to get there, but you know, we'll figure out something. I'm sure we'll find a plan.
We are flying in the air. It's like, I mean, we are almost. They can't see us. We are almost invisible. So they'll just see us landing. There's just.
Well,
or better yet,
one day we'll fly to New York.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think we should start wrapping up the live because I still have load shedding.
Yeah, I see
starting to die.
There's a question. How old are you? Well, that one, it's no.
I'm more than happy to answer that. Really, like. It's not. I'm 23 years old.
Pardon?
I'm 23.
23. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think you have answered the question. Right. The last question before we wrap it up, what motivation can you give to the people watching this live? We're definitely going to save it, but yes. The one motivation that you can.
Motivation.
What can you say to the people who want to be pilots, the high school students or people who have already matriculated?
Who want to be pilots. I will say that I'm not going to lie to you and act like it's an easy industry to get in and succeed in. There's a lot you have to do, so many hours you need to put in. It's not only mentally, but it's also physically exhausting at times. But when I tell you the reward at the end far outweighs all the challenges you have in the beginning. Besides how much you'll be getting paid once you get to the top of the food chain, which is outrageous, there's just a sense of, accomplishment. Like you're able to get this metal bird into the air, keep it up in the air safely, and then land it, right? I think for me personally, that's mind-blowing as a skill to have. But I will say that in the end, it's worth it. And as long as you have the discipline and the perseverance, and I guess the love for it as well, you'll definitely make it. Just keep swimming.
Yeah.
Just keep swimming, man.
I'm glad somebody was listening. I was also listening. I was hoping you could repeat that. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
I saw that here in the comments.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Thank you.
There's a will, there's a way. Definitely. Right. I truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate you. Have yourself a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
I'll save this live, yes, for those who didn't have the opportunity to watch now. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I hoped, someone learned something from this. Hopefully they found this informative. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I hope you get a chance to help me with season 3 because I'll be doing university applications and I'll be doing a lot of things there. I think season 3 will be a bit broad, so I'll need people who are actually doing it because it's better to ask somebody who's doing medicine how to be a doctor, and then somebody's doing medicine, you ask them that question, then it's way much easier than just me doing research.
I hear what you're saying, but that's for sure. I think that's a great incentive to do. We can chat about that later on. For now, I think we should let the people let them go enjoy their dinner and spend time with them, essentially.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
I'll upload this on YouTube.
Thank you so much for everyone who joined and the comments. I do see them and I absolutely